Friendship begins from giving to friends without expecting anything in return, and being attentive to their needs. Always look for opportunities to help people, to show the world and yourself that you are a good person. Sapo was an enormous giant, the biggest there had ever been. He could drink a river dry or eat a whole forest as if it was salad, and without doubt, his favorite delicacy was the clouds in the sky. Fresh, spongy, he ate so many of them that he'd almost always end up with an upset stomach. He'd have such pains in his belly that he'd end up crying, and the flow of his tears created giant floods and torrents. Sapo lived quietly, and just how he liked, fearing nothing and no one, coming and going as he pleased. However, despite all that, he wasn't happy. He didn't have even one single friend. What's more, every time he visited a country, there was nothing but problems. With him eating so many clouds, the rains for the crops would disappear, and with his stomach aches and crying, everything would then get flooded, not to mention all the woods and farms he would eat his way through. In the end, whenever he was spotted, everyone would flee in terror, and Sapo never got to spend any time with anyone at all. One night, seeing him crying, various stars came down and asked him why he was so sad. On hearing his story, they commented, "Poor giant, he doesn't know how to make friends, yet the Earth is the most special planet of all, and it's full of all kinds of friends." "But where can I get friends? How do I do that?" replied the giant. "By giving people a hand or doing something for them. That is what makes friendship." "You didn't know that?" replied the stars, amused. "Gee," sighed Oppo, "that never occurred to me. What did you guys do to make friends?" "Well, we learned to show people the way at nighttime, and serve as guides to many sailors. They're great friends. They tell us stories and keep us company every night." So the giant and the stars kept chatting a while, and over the following days, Sapo thought of nothing else than ways to find friends. But he couldn't think of any way to manage it. Several days later, he went to ask for help from the moon. Being old and wise, the moon answered, "You won't know how to help someone until you know them well. What do you know about these people you want to become your friends?" Sapo thought for a while, because really, he knew hardly anything about human beings. They were so small that he'd never worried much about them. So he thought to himself he would find out about them. And he spent long days observing their little lives. This is how he discovered why everyone ran off when seeing him. And he realized that he was causing droughts by eating all the clouds, and his weeping flooded them out. And he learned 1,000 other things that filled him with pity and joy. That night, the giant ran to greet the stars. "Now I know how I'm going to make friends, by eating and crying." And so it was. From that day on, Sapo watched the skies, and when the clouds were preparing enormous storms, he would feast himself on some of them. Then, when he spotted some place where there was a shortage of water, he would cry above it. Before long, Sapo changed from being the worst that could happen to a country to being a blessing for everyone. And he was never short of a good friend to spend a while with, to listen to, or to offer a helping hand.